Anthony, how are you, mate?
Hello, guys. Good to be on. Thank you for having me.
No worries at all. No worries at all. Thanks for coming on, mate. I know when we tried organising this, we didn't realise South Australia. Well, we should have thought about it. That you're half an hour behind. So, apologies for the confusion, but we've got you now, mate. And yeah, how's your day been?
It's been good, mate. Just watching the footy and recovering from what's been a pretty interesting weekend overall. But yeah, it's been good. And what a ripper game today.
Yeah, absolutely. We were just talking about that. It was a great finish, and yeah, talking about the pies on the rise and the D's potentially falling. So interesting time. It's going to be a big week news-wise for those two teams. But we're also just chatting about the Tigers and Port on Thursday night, and yeah, in front of the 21,000 crowd, which we will get to. I've said that probably enough now.
Yeah, calm down. We all get it.
But now, run us through your thoughts on the Power. Obviously, it's been a very up and down season. You started off pretty poorly, and you sort of fought your way back. Run us through your thoughts on it, considering the seasons that you've previously had.
Yeah. Well, as we know, the 0-5 start wasn't pretty at all, and I think overall we were playing the sort of footy that I think was well below par of anything we've brought in the last couple of years, and that's probably due to a bit of complacency and just everything expecting to happen, I guess. And then once we got that win against West Coast, I think that the flick of the switch sort of happened and got a bit of momentum. We got some key wins against St Kilda and the Dogs, which put us in good stead. But as you can see, I think a few teams have made a lot of improvements ahead of us, and we've sort of been in that stagnant position for the last couple of, especially the last couple of weeks. And started playing 2020 and 2021 footy when every team's playing 2022 footy. So I think that's just been us at the moment, and injuries to key players throughout the year hasn't been great. But it is what it is. And 5-7 now, 3 games out of the 8. Doesn't look too good, but as what Ken Hinkley keeps saying, you just continue the process, and we hope to do something at the back end of this year.
I think with the list you guys have and the ability that's on the park, it's definitely still, you've got plenty of time to turn it around. We've still got nearly half a season of footy left, and we've seen what Port can do at their very best, and it is scary, especially with a few, home games coming up. If you get a few wins there, it's going to be scary. But I want to talk quickly a little bit about your thoughts on the Thursday night game. I thought I don't know, it wasn't really an enjoyable game, I didn't think, from both sides. It was a bit of an interesting one. It was a bit scrappy. It was a little bit sloppy, I thought, but sort of ebbs and flows. What were your thoughts on the game as a whole?
I thought it was very finals like. Just the way everything was, the sort of the pressure of the game. Once we got into the game, I felt like the standard was there, and it almost reminded me of the Dogs game we played last year at Marvel, where we were peppering inside 50 but weren't doing anything with it. And in the end, we were I think 26 points down at one stage in that second quarter. Worked our way back, ended up in front, and I thought from then we might actually kick away, but Richmond's resilience is obviously a key part of their game, and a few decisions as well kind of went against us, I thought, in certain stages. But when you have the mindset of we're just going to bomb it in long from a kick in, and you got Nankervis, Tarrant, Grimes, and a few others around compared to Rosie and our smalls, you're not going to do a lot with it. So I think the game was okay. It was definitely scrappy and not one I definitely want to go back and watch, but yeah, I think it just showed that Richmond are there and Port Adelaide are where we are, 12th.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just thinking, like, what do you think? You mentioned injuries before to some of your key players, but what do you think it's really come down to? You drop in form this season compared to the last couple where you've been either finished on top or you've been very close to it. So what do you think's been a big reason behind that?
I think the stagnant placement we've had for I think it's 10 years overall. We've had a similar game style. We've adjusted to the rule changes, and I think we've been one of the better teams to adjust to any rule change that's come in. We've had a flexibility to our game plan like that. It's just been that going inside 50 that's always been troubling us. It's what gave us a missed opportunity in 2020. Our mindset in 2021 cost us, and I think it's been a combination of both a stagnant game plan and our mindset's just been a bit shot from last year. So I don't think it's just the injuries. I think we were just waiting for it to happen, and they say a year is a long time in footy. It definitely is at Port Adelaide because the way we transition into every year, you just don't know what's going to happen. And I'm actually not surprised this year has turned out the way it has. It's just it's kind of a waste for us, and that's the painful part, and that's the toughest pill to swallow. Is we've got all this talent on the list. We've got all the key pillars. Boak is still playing great footy. I think Robbie Gray's still got a fair bit left in him. Charlie Dixon's just come back. Alir, these players are all Australian players from years gone by, but no one else is clicking with it. So I think we've shown depth in our list, but I think at that depth that we have is exposed. So that's been us, I think, at the moment.
No, absolutely. I think you're probably pretty on the money with that one. I mean, you obviously followed a bit closer than we all do with Port Adelaide, but yeah, I think, like you said, you got those all-Australian guys, and then probably what's behind them might not be clicking as well as it should be. But one thing I wanted to ask you about is we all talk about the MCG being, the home of football. It's where the grand finals are played, obviously, but Adelaide Oval, I mean, I've never been there myself, but it just seems like an absolute fortress. And for Port Adelaide home ground, I'm scared sitting on my couch in Melbourne watching the Port fans. What's it like being there in person when Port are up and about?
It's definitely a riot when you go to the game. It's one of those things where when you're a neutral and you go watch a Port game against even the Essendon game, it was pouring with rain and 25,000 still rocked up in those conditions. Was very impressive. The thing with our crowd, and I can't comment on the Crows crowd because it's definitely a different culture and definitely a different environment. But with us, we're always invested. You'll have 25, 30,000. Doesn't have to be a full capacity crowd, but that 30,000 or 25,000 will make a louder noise than 50, 60 at the G. And that's one, how Adelaide Oval was built, but also just the investment our fans have. And we'll tell you if you're playing shit, we'll tell you if you're playing a great game of footy. And look, if you're going to put it on the bucket list, come to Adelaide Oval, do the roof climb in the day, and then come to a Saturday night game and watch Port probably choke something against another team. But definitely, I'd suggest coming over for a game. I think Richmond do play there later in the year, so might have to venture over and come watch another good game of footy because our rivalry's been insane over the last couple of years. So that's probably one you'd want to put on your bucket list.
Oh, absolutely. It definitely is on there. It's been there for a little while now. I just got to actually make the effort to go do it. But yeah, if we play later in the year, I think I might have to head down because it's incredible. And especially the song before the game, you'll got the scarves in the air, you never tear us apart. Just it's pretty insane. So can't wait.
And the never tear us apart thing is the one thing a lot of fans that aren't invested in Port Adelaide or have nothing to do with Port Adelaide, there's an outside comment on, it's cliche and it's a bit cringe. Once you're there and once you're experiencing those people singing and belting it out, it'll change your mind. People can have opinions of those things, but atmosphere is the most integral part of our game. And when you're singing that song at full lungs, ready for a big game of footy, there's nothing better.
Yeah, no, I love it. I've been told many times Adelaide Oval is one of the best, if not the best place to watch footy, atmosphere-wise. So definitely on the bucket list. I got close to it last year.
You were around town?
I was outside it. I was scooting around New Year's time there, but didn't go inside it. But yeah, apparently it's great to watch. So we'll have to make a podcast trip over there maybe.
I reckon business trip.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So, all right, mate, let's do a bit of a mid-season review so far. What's been your game of the year for the Port?
Game of the year. Oh, the Dogs game, the Friday night game. I think that was our most collective game of footy, 4 quarters, and it was the rise of Todd Marshall.
Yep,
absolutely, it was. And who do you reckon's been your best player so far?
There's been a few. It hasn't been as standout as some might seem. I honestly, you throw your name of Ryan Burton in there, Dan Houston, Todd Marshall's come good. Ollie Wines has found a bit of nick of late. Sam Powell-Pepper's been our best, though. He could have 10, 15 touches in a game, kick a goal, but they'll be the most influential touches. His efforts are insane, and we saw on Thursday night he did get done for, unfortunately, holding the ball, but he made 6 efforts in that play beforehand to try and salvage something. So I think he's been our best.
Yeah, love it. Where they're finishing up, what's your prediction? Can you make the finals? Can you sneak in?
My heart is like, yes, I still believe. I'm not one to throw in the towel, but round 13, you're sitting 5-7 and 3 games out and a bit of percentage. I'm going to say we'll finish 10th.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's a calm response. I was expecting potentially a sneak in there. I know other supporters definitely would have said otherwise, but I like it. Nice and measured. Lower the expectations.
Hey, if we make it, I'm telling you, full party at mine. Just saying.
Yeah.
But
We'll
we'll keep it measured. Yeah, then you can come over.
Beautiful. Good timing.
Done. All right, mate. Just before we let you go, we'll do the pressure cooker. So a couple of quick fire questions, and then you can get on with the rest of your night. If you had to list one player in your team, who would it be?
Stephen Motlop.
That was quick. I like that. It was quick. If you could add one player from another list, who would it be?
There's a few, but I'm gonna send me Charlie Curnow.
Oh,
yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one.
Send me Charlie.
Yeah. Would you wear your team colours to a neutral game?
Absolutely, I would. I've done it before.
Yeah, hey, we love that.
You're not a nuffy when you do it. You're not a nuffy. I'm telling you, you're just passionate and proud.
You sure, right?
Yeah, we love that. No, we love that. And then another one, similar token, footy jumpers to games, yes or no? It's a bit of controversy around it at the moment.
I do it. So,
yeah. We love that.
There's no age limit on it. Come on.
That's what I'm hearing. Some people are saying adults can't do it, and I'm hearing it I'm seeing other 50-year-olds walk around, and so I want to know what the consensus is.
No, well, you don't rock up with a suit, do you? So anything else goes.
That is true.
That's a good point. All right, and last one. Which team do you love beating the most?
Well, they're kind of shit at the moment, but they still keep beating us. So I'm going to say Adelaide. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoy the build up into the showdown and beating them. But if it wasn't the showdown, I do enjoy beating Collingwood.
Yeah. That's a standard response. That one is, yeah.
Speaking of Collingwood, just quickly, what are your thoughts on the whole the prison bar jersey that Collingwood have made a big fuss about? We've pretty openly said here we reckon Port should be allowed to wear it. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think we definitely should be able to wear it at least in a showdown, home showdown. Once a year, it's not going to hurt. I jokingly sent out a tweet today. The prison bars look pretty good beating Melbourne, so did get a lot of bites on that one. But look, if other teams can celebrate their heritage, I think we should be able to do it once a year. And I'll go one step further. I think Heritage Round should be a staple like they used to back in the 2000s because everyone's old Heritage Guernsey looks insanely good these days. So everyone should be able to do it.
Yeah, I thoroughly agree with that. I love some of our old jerseys as well, and I want to bring them all back, I reckon. So.
Those Heritage Rounds back in the early 2000s were unbelievable. It was so good. Loved them.
Yeah.
Just to see the different generations as well. Yeah, it was sick.
Exactly. All right, mate. Well, that's all. Really appreciate you coming on. And and for those out there, make sure you follow the Pear on Instagram, YouTube. Where else are you on, mate? You're on all socials?
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. My face is everywhere. Anything to do with Port Adelaide, you'll see it. So jump around, get on it, and enjoy the stuff I've got to say, which is not a lot, but it's enough.
That's what we love, mate. We love to hear that.
Love it, mate. But thanks again for coming on, and have a good night and good luck for Port for the rest of the year.
Thanks, guys. Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure.